Hello everyone, Raymond here, and as we find ourselves approaching the end of E3, I thought what better time than to talk about some of the things we saw. And what we're going to be talking about today is Forza Motorsport 7. More specifically, we're going to be talking about the top 10 things to look forward to in Forza Motorsport 7. Now before we get started, just a disclaimer, I unfortunately don't have any access to any exclusive Forza Motorsport 7 footage, so what you're going to be seeing is a mix between some of the stuff from the Microsoft press conference, which is Forza Motorsport 7 footage, and some Forza Motorsport 6 footage that I recorded myself just because I don't really feel like getting copyright infringement strikes. All this having been said, let's get into it. At number 10 on this list, we have a new feature which I believe will make the online experience in Forza Motorsport 7 far more enjoyable than it has been in previous titles. This is the adjunction system. This system is designed to discourage people from corner cutting and or crashing into people in both online lobbies as well as in the rival system. While no one has seen this system being implemented yet, it is my understanding that it will be giving time penalties to players who take part in corner cutting and crashing in online lobbies, as well as any other action that the system deems unsportsmanlike will also receive a time penalty. In Rivals, it will defer to what we've seen in previous games, which is simply receiving a dirty lap, which is valued less than a clean lap, so you just don't want to cut those corners. But if you're a single player guy and you're worried about not having that relaxing experience, don't worry, this system will not take part in the single player experience. My question is, will you be able to disable this system in online custom lobbies? Now, I don't know why you'd want to disable it, but if you wanted to, you'd have the option. So, yeah. At number 9 on this list, we have again another new feature, and that is the tier system. I find this is a really cool feature. Now, some people might not like it, and I can understand why they might not like it, but I think it's cool. And this is the tier system. This system is pretty cool. You want to know what it does? If you have more cars in your garage, after the race, you'll get more money. Simply put, the more cars you own, the greater the post-race rewards will be. I think this is really cool. It rewards players that have been playing for a long time, but some people may make the argument that this makes it a lot harder for new players. And my defense being, I mean, like, no, I think it's cool. That's my defense. Now at number 8 on this list, we have something that I am so happy happened, and that is the reimagining of the campaign game mode. Now in previous Forza Motorsport games, it wasn't bad, it's just that you would just do races and races and races, and it could become tedious so quickly. Luckily for us, they've taken the time to sort of flip things on their head and making it a lot more interesting and to get the player much more involved in the experience. And this is done by having 6 championships. Across these 6 championships, you can earn points, like in real life's championships or races series, if you think about those. And these points are really, really cool. This gives an incentive to play, and I really like that they've done this. You can use these points to unlock new driver gear, and you can use these points to unlock cars. So they've given you an incentive to play the campaign, as well as styling it after real life championship series. And to me, that's much more appealing than just grinding out races just to get that achievement. I like this, and I like where it's going. Now, in the previous entry on this list, you may have heard me mention driver gear, and some of you are wondering, Raymond, what the hell is driver gear and why should I care? Well, my response is number 7 on this list, driver gear. And why should you care? Because it's cool? Am I the only one excited about this? I mean, I never thought about having this in a Forza game, but when I saw it, it instantaneously clicked, because it adds an entirely new level of depth and something for all of us to enjoy. Driver gear is the ability to customize your character. They have over 300 sets of different attires from different eras of racing that you can wear, so it's not just the regular racing suit in different colors. They actually change things up, which I find is kind of cool, and you know, it adds a little bit of fun to the game. You can personalize your character just like you personalize your car, and it gives you that much more control over what you do in the game. Now at number 6 on this list, let's talk about something we've never really had in Forza, and by what I mean by never really had, I mean we've never had this, and that is pit crews, which are cool. It's awesome. At least for me it is. At the place of driving into the pits like you used to in the game and you just drive through it slowly. Now you drive through it slowly, but then you pull over, and I assume, or at least I'd like to think, you're going to be able to see people change their tires, fill her up. You can even do driver changes, which to me is really cool because that could play a role in endurance races, as well as if you're playing with friends. I don't know why you do this. I feel like it's a good live stream idea. I might do this in the future, hopefully, but it's like you do a driver train, so then you pass the controller to your buddy and it's his turn to drive. I don't know, I'm imagining stuff, but I find it's a really cool thing they added to the game, and it adds a new level of immersiveness that it didn't have in the past. Now at number 5 is when we start getting into the real interesting stuff, and that is the dynamic weather system. You know, if you haven't heard about this, it's a really cool feature. Now in Forza Motorsport 6, they added weather, which is rain, night, and they had day. Now it's dynamic, which means you can be racing during a sunset, and as you race, it will go from low lighting to just darkness, and your car will probably turn its lights on. As well, you can have sunrises, you can have rain, you can have everything you've had before, except it can change now. So you can be racing perfectly, and then all of a sudden it starts raining on the track. And as you race, puddles start to form because there's the accumulation of water. Eventually it turns into a giant river, and you just spin out and crash. Also, if it stops raining, I assume that the water will slowly subside from the track. You'll go from having a completely wet track to slightly moist to a few puddles here or there. I'd love to see how that interacts, and it's really fun, and I'm really curious about this. Let's say it stopped raining and certain areas of tracks don't drain very well. Will there be a water puddle there while everything else is dry? And let's say if people keep driving over it, will the splash cause certain areas near the puddle or after it to continue to be wet? I'm just curious whether or not that's a feature. I feel like that's pretty advanced, but if they manage to put that in, it would be really cool in my opinion. Already that this is pretty darn awesome. Now, it would have been impossible to make a list about the things to look forward to in Forza Motorsport 7 without mentioning the huge influence that the One X had on the development process. Because it has so much horsepower, the developers were able to have so much more fun. So at number 4 on this list, we have the Xbox One X, and more openly, the 4K 60 frames per second that you're going to be getting with the game. Now, the game comes out on October 3rd, and the One X comes out on November 7th, so there is a gap. But if you have a PC powerful enough, you can run it 4K 60 frames per second from day one on October 3rd. As well, if you don't have a PC or an Xbox One X that's powerful enough to run it, you still have the Xbox One. It's just going to be downgraded from 4K to 1080, and you're still going to be running a magnificent 60 frames per second, which to me is absolutely incredible, and it's kind of a thing to look forward to because this is going to be the best looking Forza that we've seen to date. Now, at number 3, let's talk about something that we haven't talked about yet, but we'll kind of need to because it's a racing game, and that is tracks. And it's a racing game, so you kind of need tracks to race on if you want to race, right? Right, so the creative director of Forza Motorsport 7, and I'm sorry if I mess this up, which I will, so you can yell at me in the comments down below. Yes, I don't know how to pronounce that. And I quote said, "There are over 30 environments, including the brand new Hafit Mountain Pass and fan favorite Maple Valley Raceway." This is huge. Not only have they added a new track, which I think is going to be a lot of fun to drift on, the Hafit Mountain Pass, but they also added a fan favorite, which we've been requesting for. Now, we don't have any news about Fujimi Kaido, but Maple Valley Raceway, yes! I'm so happy! As well, with regards to Japanese tracks, Dan Greenwald confirmed on Twitter by replying to a fan when he said, "I can confirm Suzuka has been recaptured and recreated in 4K glory for #Forza." Yes! Now, I didn't play Suzuka that much, but I know a lot of people love it. In fact, it's Nick's favorite track. If you know Nick from Era 12 Gaming, he loves that track. Not only will we have 30 different racing environments, we're also going to have 200 race layouts, which means on certain environments, you can have many different ways to race it, either forward, reverse, or just different weather conditions. It's going to be a huge amount of things you can do to that, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it. At number 2, let's talk about something that's even more important than tracks in a racing game, and that is cars. How could we make a top 10 list of things to look forward to without including cars? And let's talk about the cars. 700 different Forza Vista cars. Do you know how huge that is? I don't think there's ever been a Forza title that's launched with so many cars. If there has, please let me know. But for me, this is huge. The amount of different things they're going to have racing trucks. They're going to have the return of Volkswagen. Finally, we've been missing out on that. They're going to have Porsche, which is not going to be an expansion for once. They're going to have NASCAR, which is not going to be an expansion either. And the creative director of Forza Motorsport 7, and I'm going to massacre this again, kill me in the comments below, again, Bill Gies said, Forza Motorsport 7 will have the largest collection of Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and Porsches of any game ever, which means this will be the most amount of Ferraris, Porsches, and Lamborghinis you've ever seen in a video game, period. So we're getting a special treatment, us Forza fans. We get to have all this new stuff. Is there anything else that we could ask for with regards to cars? I don't know. They haven't released the official car list, but in the description down below, I will leave a link to AR12 Gaming, the website, where they have a list of the cars they currently know about that will be constantly updated as new cars are released and we're made aware of new things. But this is just huge. I'm so excited for this. How can you not be? 700! 700! That's huge! So we've talked about cars, we've talked about tracks. Now you're all wondering, well, what the hell could number one be? We've talked about practically everything, which is my point exactly. At number one, for the top 10 things to look forward to in Forza Motorsport 7, you have Forza Motorsport 7 itself. I know it's kind of cheating, but fuck it, I'm doing it anyways. You wanna know why? Because I am so excited for this game, it's not even funny. Look, Forza, in my opinion, has never really made any bad games. Sure, they've made some that weren't great, but they've never like completely dropped the ball. And Forza Motorsport 7 is looking to be one of the best, if not the best game they've released so far to date, which I am so excited for. Like, it's ridiculous. I want it now. I can't wait, which is why it takes number one on this list. Alright guys, that's going to be it for today. I hope you all enjoyed. I would really appreciate it if you would like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. These lists take a lot of time to make. As well, follow me on social media. Links are down in the description down below. Before you leave, please let me know in the comments down below what you think are the top 10 coolest things about Dirt 4, because that is going to be what next week's top 10 list is going to be about, unless we get new information about Need for Speed Payback, because right now I don't have enough information to make an entire top 10 list. That having been said, I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.